Hello, everyone. It's Jason again with Grounded Roots Healing. Uh, I've been through the ringer. The last 2 days have been an absolute nightmare. I went through what can only be considered a tower moment, which is what I want to talk about today. Tower moments, shadow work, etc. The difference between it. What all is happening with you when this is going on, and if there is anything you can do about it. Yeah, it was been a bit of a absolute torturous couple of days, at least for my mind. Um, Before that, I want to thank everybody, the 314 subscribers, or as Russell Brand likes to call them, the 314 awakening wonders. So I want to thank you guys for subscribing. I really do. I appreciate it. So, shadow work, tower moments. Um, what's the difference? Essentially, how much it hurts and how long it lasts. That's all it is. It's the only difference, as far as I can see. You know, you do breath work, you're doing the same thing. You do anything that triggers you to deal with unresolved emotional energies built up in your mind-body complex is the same thing. So, might as well describe what's going on with me. So what happened? Yesterday, I just got in the deepest, darkest hole that I've been in a long time. And it felt like it always felt in the past, like right back to square one. Now, I did a video last night, which I will not post, because it's there's no value to it. It's just the ramblings of an ego. So I don't want to expose you to this, but you know, as the ego does, tends to feel bad for itself, and woe is me, and the whole world's bad, and all of this stuff that we all know once you start to awaken is BS. But when you're down in that, it's impossible to see it. At least for me. I hope other people can see through this and handle it better than I do, but I'm not sure if it's even possible. Because how would you process it if you didn't go through it again? So, and then yesterday was terrible. I just couldn't be around people. I left, spent most of the day just driving around the car trying to get a hold of myself, essentially. So, and, to spare everybody else the damage, some of it anyway. I just was having a rough day. And, it was scary because I never really want to feel that way ever again. Nobody does. You think you'll get past this stuff, but you can always feel that way. But, I take solace in that this doesn't happen very often, whereas this would happen a couple times a month at least, in a real extreme event. And then, I was just in general an unhappy person for most of the time. And no wonder. Now today there was less anger and less frustration with how things went, and but there was a lot of sadness. So I just laid in bed and was watching inspirational stuff on YouTube and crying for like 2 hours. I'm not kidding. Like, it would come in waves, just tears coming out, tears coming out, tears coming out. It had to come out. So what is this? Why did this happen again? Well, as far as I can tell, the date is significant. January 6th. It's a holiday known as the Epiphany. That's when the three wise men supposedly found baby Jesus. 1:44 on the clock when I said that. Now, that's my gut feeling, because when I saw, for whatever reason, I was looking at the calendar and I saw that on there, and I never knew what it was. I'd never heard of it before. So I asked Amanda, and she explained it to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's important. For some reason, there's something big energy that's going to move on that day." And then when I was in it, I didn't even realize it was January 6th. So anyway, this is how it works in my opinion, but it doesn't really matter. What matters is that this energy, as we raise our vibration as a whole, as a collective of beings on this planet, the whole planet raises its vibrational frequency. We need to stay on it if we're going to stay here, and we need to follow that vibrational frequency. Well, this lower trauma and frustration and behavioral patterns that we've learned by being inflicted on this, having this world inflicted upon us as children, it causes a lot of built-up energy, because it doesn't get dealt with in the moment or dealt with at all. Maybe you were young and you didn't have the ability to process this energy, so you bury it down and it's got to go, and it cannot come with us as we raise in vibration. It can't. So I obviously still had a lot in there. And if you look at my last, 3 videos, to be honest, it was all attempts at rehashing and dealing with old emotions from my childhood, from the way I was raised, where I was raised, what happened to me, all of this stuff. And it was a building up to what was it turned out to be an epic tower moment. Now I'm out of it now, and it happened quickly. After this energy was processed and the crying and all of this stuff, all of a sudden it was like a switch flicked, and I was free. I could think clearly again, and I had worked through it. Now, it wasn't easy. This is not easy. It was not fun. I still cannot, especially with those really deep ones, look at it from a higher perspective when I'm in it. I still struggle through it. So I don't know if there's a way to even fix that, or if that's just the way it's planned. And it doesn't really matter, because is the way it went, and I can't change it. So I let it go. Now, I'm not so foolish as to believe that this isn't going to come back over the next week. There's going to be waves where this goes up and down. This is how it works. And I just hope I can hold my awareness of what's going on as I go through these. That's the goal here. They won't be as deep. The first one's always, when this gets triggered, that first initial tower where things fall down and you're right back at square one, or at least that's how it feels. You're not. It feels like there is no end to this, but each wave is a smaller fraction of energy. You can think of it almost as if your body's collecting up this old energy and then out. So the first one is massive. There's your tower, or your dark night of the soul, or your shadow work. And it would be 2 nights of the soul. And And then there's some residual stuff, and you start to collect that up, and then it builds it up, and then it sends it out again. And that each day you're going to have waves of this. It's definitely sinusoidal. I've absolutely noticed the pattern. But they get lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser and lesser, and then you're out. So until the next one. Yeah. So I had a hell of a couple days. I feel like I don't look particularly good. I haven't slept much at all. My eyes are baggy. I've been through the ringer. It's just the spirit has ridden me hard and put me away wet. That sounds really bad, I guess. But that's what happened. I got put through the ringer, and I got a sore neck. I got energies that get released. Sometimes you actually feel it in your bodies. If you're holding them in your neck, these tensions, let's say, and pain, stored trauma, stored energy. When you release it, you actually get sore muscles and sore joints, and feels like you got beat up a little bit. And I like what I like to call it a spiritual hangover. That's what it feels like. It feels like you did things you forgot you'd done, and you hurt yourself, and you don't feel particularly good, and you didn't sleep good. It's very much like that. Maybe I'll title this video The Spiritual Hangover. But that's a very good analogy. That's what it feels like. Now, what do we do from here? So I started the channeling channel where I did some direct channeling. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I was thinking about doing another one, and then I don't know. I'm not getting much traction over there, so I'm not sure if it's worth it. But I'll leave it up, and if I do decide to do another one, I will. And the reason I'm saying that is there's just so many channels. You know, I'm not sure if I'm providing anything extra. So it is what it is. I did think about doing some other things. What I absolutely need to do is learn Reiki. I know how to do energy movement. I absolutely know how to move energy. I can feel it. At least basics, but I would really, really, really like to learn how to get more advanced at this. And I'm sure it's going to unlock something. So my brain just keeps saying to do it. So I think that's going to be the next step for me. We have our local practitioner is starting classes back up here this week. So we're excited. We're going to be back doing our breath work and meditations and cacao ceremonies and all this fun stuff. And then that got me thinking about something, which was just a curiosity for me. It actually started with that Epiphany holiday. Holiday. Thinking about, well, I saw a video on the other app, and it was talking about the month, the derivation of the name, the word month. It's moonth, Moonth, which means it's based on the moon cycles. Except if you look at the 12-month calendar, it isn't at all. They drift all over the place. Now, if you take 365 days and divide it by 28 days, which is a lunar cycle, you end up with 13. So the original calendar had 13 months, and the 13 months is significant. It was actually only ever designed to track the moon cycles. And why we changed it. Now, where I'm going with this is the new year was on January 1st, but I've never found that to be a significant time. There's nothing new about this time of year. It's one of the most miserable times of year there is. But if you look on the 13-month moon calendar, I believe the new year is February 27th. It's always around March 1st, which is the day last year that I quit drinking alcohol while I was at a pyramid in Mexico. And I had a transcendental experience, and I had my heart chakra bust wide open from all of that energy. And there is, in my mind, absolutely a correlation and a significance between that and what happens. So what I'm saying here is, we always do these New Year's resolutions, or at least we used to, and I don't often do them because I've never felt the significance of January 1st. It just doesn't make sense. But if your New Year is actually the start of spring, the new moon, in where spring is things are actually starting to turn, and the new year is actually starting, it seems like this might be a good time over the next few months to get things together that you'd like to get rid of, bad habits, addictions even, that worked for me. Put those together, anything you want to let go of for the next year, and make it a point on the actual new year to let those go. Try to find yourself a power center on this planet and spend some time there meditating and see what happens. It works. Yeah, so I think I'll leave it there. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.